Hey, before we start, cheers. Let's do Happy Christmas to all.
Happy Christmas.
Before we go any further, just somebody want to slap our number on this, baby?
Yes, this is episode 253.
All right, so we are we're joined, as you can see, by the lovely Heidi Riggs in Phoenix, Arizona. We just left you. It seems like a couple of days ago. Had a wonderful gig with you at Good Time Charlie's in Chandler, Arizona, and it was lovely to see you and Ryan and Nick and Ben. You know, I need to buy one of those little Fisher Price, those little the baby toys, you know, so I can just hold the steering wheel. I'm out of sorts now if I'm not in the van recording SlapperCast episode 253. You know, it's weird.
Yeah, and actually looking at the camera instead of the road.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird to see this from this angle.
Yeah, it's very strange indeed. But yeah, we've been dying to get Heidi back on here. Heidi, you have been busy. Things are picking up in Phoenix, Arizona.
It is busy. It's kind of nonstop. It's where you're like, okay, what's today? I don't know. What is today? I don't know. But it's been good. I've gotten to do a bunch of different kinds of things, which is nice. It's a little bit of a whirlwind right now.
Wonderful. That's good. I mean, it's much better to be. Speaking of being busy, we have. I don't know if you've been looking at the calendar, but I've just been. 24 is going to be a nut house. We are going to be in that fucking van. So that Fisher Price toy will become a reality here very, very soon. Today we're going to be focusing on, as we have been for weeks, you know, the whole world. If you've walked out, you've noticed there's a shift, there's a change in the atmosphere. There is with the death of Shane MacGowan, I believe that the whole planet has changed, and we've been just really kind of putting a magnifying glass on his, you know. I mean, we've always been grateful. We've always been, you know, the three of us here, even Turbo, who can't be here today. Another manscaping accident, but this one actually is a beneficial manscaping accident. So he did something, and it works so well that his wife won't let him leave the bedroom. So we should have him back. We should have him back for the next one. But we're all such huge Shane MacGowan fans. I know I speak for myself only when I say I owe him such a debt. Not only his writing have I borrowed from, but his style of performance, his just the wit, the wit, and yet his use of the Irish folklore and his love of the Irish culture. He's one of those people like a Ronnie Drew or from the Dubliners, or like a Christy Moore, or just one of these giants in their fields of Irish folk, wolf tones, that kind of stuff, but just so proud of their country. And so, again, we go back to our Irish tour, and, Sean and Tony, their love. So on our last trip in October, I was on the bus and Sean was driving. Somebody brought up, as I'm sure most tours do when they're talking to these guys, but he said, do you ever go to the States? Do you ever go? And Sean's answer was, he goes, I have so much to see and do here in Ireland that I don't travel because I love the country so much. And his idea of a holiday is he'll go a hike in the mountains for days and he likes to pick up rubbish and, just clean up. And he is so in love with that. And that's Shane MacGowan to me. Shane wanted to not just bring the Irish music and the culture and the art, but also pull you in and help you experience this Irish, this. And so many people have said it. So many people have said to us, I set foot in Ireland, and as soon as I planted my feet on the ground, I felt something. It is one of the most beautiful places in the world for a reason, because it's got something else that's just not just tangible, but it gets inside you and it will infect you. And I believe, again, Dennis has outdone himself again with Ireland 2024 September, starting September 22nd. So it's going to be another monster year. And I would say, if you have the time, take the tour, because you're not getting the time back. And this is one not to be missed. So Blaggards.com is what we're saying. So back to Shane.
Do you think that what you just described, the way that he conveys this love of Ireland and his work, Do you think, because it's interesting to me that he sings, well, the Pogues sing a lot about Irish immigration. A lot of their songs are based on that. And he himself, obviously born to Irish parents who immigrated to England. Do you think that his being removed from Ireland kind of enhanced his sort of love affair with the culture in a way? Just
Oh
being,
yeah,
not being,
yeah, and they were all, the term is plastic paddies. They were all of Irish, had Irish blood, and it's on our I believe it's just on our Facebook thing, but we reposted the funeral, Shane's funeral, and when his younger sister got up, and she. It really was. It was such a beautiful moment. Even these songs that we've been singing for 20 years, these songs are so true. They're so dear to him. They're so honest, and they're so, but she kind of uncovered, and she showed where these songs came from. And it was just a big kick in the face, just a good kick in the face, if there's such a thing. Just eye-opening when I heard her describe, Rob Majestic Shannon. How many fucking times we played that song? I'm not tired of it, but she uncovered the gap in the wall. And because that it didn't make sense. I knew it came from somewhere, because Shane's not going to write did da, no offense thing. But all the songs come from here, but his brilliance knew no boundaries. He's just, and she kind of took the veil off that piece of the song. And I was like, oh shit, that's great. And I think that you should 100% just do yourself a favor, even if you're not a Pogues fan, which shame on you. You should go and watch that speech with that, eulogy, whatever. I mean, she's just she's so eloquent. She is an author, so it wouldn't be like, someone like me going up there dribbling, but it's every single word is poignant. There's no fluff. So I would just recommend everybody, check that one out.
But yeah, I was reading about him, but I'd watched that documentary. It's been a while since I'd seen that documentary. I want to watch that again. But just reading that, he discovered Joyce and drink, right around the same time when he was a kid. So that these things just kind of just sort of shaped his brain, I think. And it's a shame that he was just never able to free himself from that addiction. But like you said in the last episode, we talked about him when we mentioned him the day we learned he died. You said he, right or wrong, that's the way he lived. And there was I mean, I don't know if there's anything anybody could have done.
I don't think he had any regrets either.
Yeah.
So Heidi, how did you come to hear the Pogues?
Oh, I think just when I was introduced to Irish music in general, when somebody asked me if I would try Irish fiddle, and then that led eventually to an Irish rock band. And then I don't know how you can get into Irish music and not hear the Pogues, because like you said, the presence of the Irish folk music and the traditional music in the Pogues music, you can't really not come across it. He does such a great job of infusing everything.
Yeah, and then every festival that we play, every time that we play with another band, let's just call it the borrowing, the Pogues, the Shane borrowing in their music is so evident. It's and again, I'm not knocking it. I've always said I don't like the bands that kind of stand like the Pogues, and every song is about drink, go to the pub and go to fight. People might have seen that as a through line of his material, but I don't see that at all. I see every single, one of my favorite songs is a song that a lot of people wouldn't. I mean, especially people that don't really know the genre. One of my favorite songs is The Old Main Drag. And it's not because the song is dreary and it's dark and the lyrics are heavy, and it's just, you might not hear it at your Christmas party, I'll put it that way. But the doom and the reality in that song is what kind of just punched me in the head. Like, whoa, that was, and his ability to do that with the stroke of a pen was tremendous, So
shall we just dip into it?
Yeah, we can.
Do we want to go like in a round, like one song at a time? We'll see how far we get.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Just disclaimer here, kids. Here on SlapperCast episode 253, we tried to pick our top 5 Pogues songs, and we have not confirmed. We haven't seen each other's lists. We don't know what we're going to say. You want to fire off? Are yours in order? Does anybody have theirs in order?
No. I mean, they're written in an order, but they're definitely not in order of preference.
Okay, good. Okay, the first one on my list is Bottle of Smoke, which is a barn burner. It's pure Pogues, and it's back when I was in school. A couple of friends of mine, Gary Lewins, a guy named Scooby, Peter Johnson was his name, Paul Hayden. I want to say Stephen McGuinness, the guy that introduced me to the Pogues. I want to say he was as well. But these guys were going down to the bookies and they were placing bets at lunchtime. They were betting on the horses and gambling at, 15, 16 years old. And I just thought that was such an old man sport. They would have the newspaper rolled up and they'd be picking their thing and they'd go down to the thing. And then, so that song, Bottle of Smoke, not only hit me as, like I said, barn burner, but it was the lyrics were just dead on. Just if they had, those motherfuckers wouldn't have come back if they had hit 25-1. They weren't coming back to school. They were they were gone. So anyway, so Bottle of Smoke. Sorry, that was way too long.
Well, I'm sure you're not surprised that is on my list too. It was the first one I wrote down, and yeah, because we've been talking about wanting to cover this song for a long time. As regular viewers of this show or listeners will know, that song too is not just one of my favorites, but I think it's my favorite musically, just because it just fucking cooks. And I read just now before we came on that Jem Finer co-wrote that one with him, which makes sense since he was he co-wrote Fairytale and a few other of their best songs too. So, but the thing I really love about that is that it's so triumphant. In the song, a lot of Shane's songs are catchy and stuff, but have a dark undertone, or like just completely just surreal, and the lyrics and stuff. And this one's a little bit more focused on the describing the scene of a gambling race, but the chorus, 25-1 on my horse won, and then the going into the jig part when he's screaming and the come on you bastard or whatever it is that Spiders. The whole thing is just so great. I don't know if they really top that musically. There's another song on that same record. It's the If I Should Fall from Grace of God record called Sit Down by the Fire. Shane wrote that one on his own, which is really, really cool. It has all these really kind of strange, unpredictable chord changes in it. I love that one as well. That's not on my list, but it just made me think of it. Anyway, okay, I'll stop rambling. Go Heidi. Right?
This is harder for me. Okay, so I don't think of the Pogues as just drinking songs. I just don't. I mean, I probably, when I first got introduced to them and thought that Flogging Molly was the Pogues, like when I was bringing into this whole genre, right? But I don't see them as just drinking songs, because if you really go through their archives, there are the ballads. And then what blew me away yesterday that I hadn't really realized, they have an infusion of world music, which I didn't really recognize before. But if you just look at song titles, there's South Australia, Turkish Song of the Damned. They have a song called Fiesta. Have you heard that?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That is a cool song. So that's my next one is Fiesta. It's got that. It's almost like a jazz intro, and then it kicks into the kind of Irish rock. But all throughout, there's different features of horns. The bass has a cool solo line. The drummer has all different beats in there, and it's so catchy. And it's like genius. It's like this combination, and how he pulls off this Spanish theme in the middle of an Irish rock song. It's fascinating. And if you keep looking down a song list of theirs, you just see the London Song, and it's country after country after country. And how Shane MacGowan was able to pull in all those different cultures within this Irish rock sound. I don't know. I had not really seen it that way until last night.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, we used to do a portion of it, which I'll let Patrick tell that story.
Oh,
But it's been
okay.
a while since we played it.
yeah. We have a medley. The Pogues have a song called "The Sick Bed of Cuchulainn,"
Right.
a mythical
Yeah.
Irish, the legend of Cuchulainn. So I put this medley together, and we called it Sick Med for Sick Medley, and it had the Sick Bed of Cuchulainn, and it also had a little bit of Fiesta in there. And Chad would take the bass and do 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 do.
Yeah.
So we had that in there. So I'm going to put on both of those. I'm going to take Fiesta with you, and I'm going to put Fiesta and Sick Bed of Cuchulainn. The reason being is because for that your exact point, Heidi, the borrowing from all these different musical ideas and these different genres and these styles. That to me, that was Blaggards from birth. We've always
Yeah.
just whatever we feel like putting in there, it's going in. As long as it's not stupid, as long as it's not going to be something that's that you're doing it to sound like a prog rock or it has to make sense. It has to be fun on stage. Sick Med, our Sick Medley was really fun to play, and the new guys always fucking hated it. They're always just like, "Oh, do we have to? Yeah, we have to." And it was just watching 4 or 5 people on the stage just hanging on for dear fucking life, going,
It's kind of funny that Sick Med itself kind of is in the spirit of Fiesta itself too, because it's just it goes to so many different places. But that whole medley sprung out of your idea that I think you were singing "I Walk the Line" to yourself, and you kept hearing the Fiesta horns playing along with it. So that's how the medley started. Is we blended "I Walk the Line" with Fiesta, and then we put "Sick Bed" in the beginning of it, and then we put Hills Connemara in between those two sections.
Oh yeah.
But the best part is when we get to the Fiesta section. That's just so much fun. And then the only part of Fiesta we actually sing is towards the very end, right before we end it. And from there to the end, it's essentially like how Fiesta is. But I love that whole piece.
Yeah.
The one I always think of, and this isn't necessarily one of their best songs, but I've always loved it, and I've always wanted. This is one I wanted us to cover. We never learned Transmetropolitan, which is the first track off of Red Roses for me.
Yeah.
Their first record. It's just such a great, just upbeat song. Very much almost like a precursor to Streams of Whiskey, which is later on the same record. It's a very similar and spirit and the way the song is constructed and stuff. But it reminds me of, the lyrics are just him describing, I guess Irish teenagers going and tearing up London. But it reminds the way that it describes, almost sounds like a Clockwork Orange if the main characters were Irish.
Yeah,
because he throws that in there. You can't being Irish is a very big part of that song because all the references he throws in, and it has a lot to do with sort of shooting the finger at British authority, and definitely because he mentions the GLC, which I think is the Greater London Council or something like that.
Well, they also arrived in England at the height of just the racist attitude towards the Irish, just the 3rd, 4th, 5th class citizens. They were just dirt, and they saw that firsthand. So that all comes out in the music too. That all comes out in the melodies and the things. Just it's so powerful that the Pogues are. If you overlook the Pogues, I feel sorry for you. It's kind of like having a Houston Texans sticker on your car. I'm sorry. I just feel sorry for you.
Yeah. And that song too is such a great. That is the first track of the first album, and at the end of that song, if the song itself isn't enough for you, then very slyly goes into an instrumental version of Railroad Times at the very end.
Yeah,
as the song is fading out, that definitely sets the stage for what was to come for them, because that was just a really good example of the kind of clever stuff that they were doing.
All right, Heidi, you're up.
Heidi?
I'm going to mix it up and throw in one of the ballads. Broad Majestic Shannon's one of my favorites to play. And he had such a mastery of delivering those types of songs so well, without any corniness or.
Yeah.
And the lyrics he chooses, and the timing, it's just always so well done.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how good he was at that romantic
Yeah.
touch, when he was also so good at it. Like you go from that to the Old Main Drag. It's sometimes hard to believe that those both of those sets of lyrics came, Bob Majestic, Shannon, and Old Main Drag came from the same person.
Yeah. So my next one too is well, it's just, it would be one that I would like to play, but it's just too fucking long. I love it. I love it. I love it. But I just can't, it's like, I even like the Waltzing Matilda off Rum Sodomy, but but this one is the Thousands Are Sailing.
Yeah.
Just because of the construction of that song and the delivery. Again, my mind is, well, of course, it's shot, but it's shot as far as the as performance goes. I cannot think of doing a song that long in the situations that Blaggards are usually put in, because we have your attention for that long. As long as it take me to say that's as long as we have your attention in a regular environment. There have been exceptions. A place called Unity, Maine, way up north, up by the Canadian border. We played there many moons ago, and that was the first time I remember the manager of the place saying to me, "Talk, don't just play the songs. Talk about the songs. Talk about the band." And I said, "Oh," and I said, "Well, this fucker doesn't know what he's talking about, but I'll give it a shot." I went out there, and we had, you could have heard a pin drop. It was a beautiful theater. It was the acoustics were just amazing in that place, and sound guy was good from what I remember. But I just recall the audience focused, no cell phones, no nothing, just focused on our performance and listening to every single word. So that was, anyway, that's a side note there. But Thousands Are Sailing is one of those songs that's just, I've heard people cover it and cover it well, but that's one of those songs that's just Pogues. That's the only version I want to hear. So,
yeah,
no,
that's an interesting one too, because Philip Chevron, the great late Philip Chevron, I guess I'm not sure whose decision it was that Shane should sing it on the record. I much prefer Shane's vocal on it. But when we saw them play, Philip sings that song, or he used to sing it live. But he was happy. He said in interviews that he was happy to have Shane sing it. And I'm not sure if that was something that the band insisted on, or if it was something that Steve Lillywhite insisted that, like, no, you got to let Shane sing this one. But it's absolutely fantastic. This is the only one I picked from the stuff he did after the Pogues. Song with No Name. That was one of the first, when I first met Patrick, and I was going to the Wednesday open mic at Beverly Pub where we met. There was a few Pogue songs he did and a few of Shane's solo songs, and this was one of them that he was playing, Song with No Name. But that's another one of his romantic ones, and that's always been a favorite of mine because of the way that Patrick sang it, not just the song itself. I've been bugging him lately. I think we need to add that back to the set. But that is a great one. I think it's one of the best ones he did after the Pogues broke up. Yeah,
I love that song. I also love, and I had it on my list, but I scratched it out. But I did have. And fucking Tori Horseth would stab me in the eyeball if I said this, but I'm going to say it anyway. But the Mother McCree, I just think that's one of those songs where they just got the beat per minute, the tune, the melody, the structure. I think they just nailed it. It's not anything superb. It's definitely not one of his top songs, but to me, it's just one of those songs that if you like to drive fast and you like to drive out in the open road, that's one of the songs that you want to just put the foot to the ground and just. Mm-hmm. It's a great number. Anyway, that's a little side note too. But yeah, I had a bunch off it. Nancy Whiskey was another one. His version of Nancy Whiskey has not been topped. In my
Mm-hmm. I was just listening to that this morning too. Mother McCree. We used to open. That used to be one of our set openers back in the day. Yeah, in the early days. That to me, that sounds like it's almost like a sister to If I Should Fall from Grace with God, because it has some of the same chord changes in it. It's got the D and the F sharp and the E. That chord progression is crazy. But it's brilliant. Anyway, that's one of those songs that totally sounds like it could have been a Pogue song, much more than a lot of the other stuff he was doing.
Yeah, Heidi, you're up.
Summer in Siam.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
It's another one I really like that you don't hear very often. I mean, some of these are just so hard to cover for a lot of bands, that they get forgotten. I think the ones that everyone remembers are the ones that are easily covered or more easily covered. But
Yeah.
there's so many good ones. There's so many good ones.
It's hard for me to imagine anybody else other than Shane singing that one song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His delivery
That's it.
is
That
very
song's got a
unique.
very special place in my heart. I love that song for many, many reasons. But that's a great track. I didn't put it on there because like Fairytale. I mean, I still can't believe that we've attempted Fairytale because that song just kills me. I mean, lyrically, and I have memories attached to that song that just
Yeah.
fucking floor me. And I think it was last week. Well, of course, 2 weeks ago now for y'all. We did our I think it was the 25th annual toy drive, and over $61,000 raised. Kids,
Wow.
61,000. So, maybe a side note here, but a big thanks to Kelly and Joe Shimensky who put this event together and who annually put this gig together, and of course our friends Clay Dias and the Soul Survivors and the Mighty Orc and the Open Door Mission Choir. I mean, just and the Continental Club, of course, all our friends over at the Continental Club. Huge thanks for everybody's hands-on hard work, big pulling, lots of teamwork there, and so over $61,000 raised that go to it's dispersed between the Open Door Mission and the Salvation Army and all that stuff. So big thanks to Joe and Kelly Shimensky. My daughter Tara, who today, Slapper Day, it's gone now, but she turns 20 years old today. And
Wow.
I'm just so proud of she. I kid you not. So, Rock the Shelter, our annual thing for the Open Door Mission. It was the day before, or 2 days before our performance with Jeff Duncan. Thank you, Jeff. She called me. She says, "Hey, do you want me to sing Fairytale?" I said, "Well, can you?" She said, "Yep, never heard her sing," and she's never sang with anybody before. I said, "Yeah, if you can do it." So I picked her up the next day, which is the day before the thing, and we're driving to the show. And I said, "Well, let me hear it." And she belts it out, and it's in tune, and it's in time. And I was like, "Whoa, yeah!" So she got up on stage, and it was her first time on a microphone with a fucking band, and she let it rip, and I was just blown away, absolutely blown away.
Wow.
I grounded her too. She's. Yeah, I said, "Don't you ever fucking steal it."
Immediately.
Yeah, So but that song, when I say it's got a space in my heart, when I say it means more to me I mean, there's 2 or 3 times. Summer Siam, there's a line in Fairytale, and there's a line in, God damn it, I can't think of it. Anyway, there's Shane put his finger on a nerve, and he just. I mean, when I hear that song, when that part comes, so huge piece of my life. So, Shane, cheers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's cool. Did you
Yeah,
cry when Tara nailed that song? Did you cry? I would have cried.
During it, I was in the middle of the song, and I came up to that line where it fucks me up, and I just, woo.
yeah.
Way to go, Tara.
Yeah, she nailed it. That was so cool because I was a little worried for her coming out because we were not using our in-ears and it was pretty loud up there. And I was singing. I didn't have any lead vocals in this one, so I didn't have to worry about not hearing myself perfectly. So it was just enough for me to do my job. But I realized, oh man, if her vocal is at my level, she's never done this before. This might be kind of tricky for her. So right before we started playing, I tapped on her shoulders. If you need more, tell Diego. Or we never worked with Diego before. The new sound guy at Continental Club, filling in for Luba. Great job. Just across the board, he was fantastic. But I said, make sure you tell him to turn up. Point at the mic, point up for more vocal. She said, okay. but she didn't even have to do that because Diego was watching it. He didn't miss a beat. As soon as she started singing, he pushed up her vocal, cranked up her gain in the monitor, and that was fantastic. I was so grateful to Diego for paying attention to that because that helped her. But she, she absolutely nailed it. And I had never heard her sing before, so that was the first time I heard her sing, let alone performed with her on stage. So that was amazing.
Oh,
Anyway.
Yeah.
awesome.
So, all right, Smalley, you're up.
This is the only one I put on here that's in our current set list because I couldn't avoid it. Boys from County Hell. It's just always been I think probably, if I had to put number one, it probably would be number one just because, I don't know, there's something just musically about it and lyrically that I just love. And I think part of it too is that kind of spaghetti Western kind of country feel that's in it is such a big part of our sound. The E minor, A minor, G and all that stuff that's a space that we've spent a lot of time in this band. And we always go back to it because it just is, I don't know, it's in our veins. But that song, I think, is just so emblematic of why I love the Pogues and this band as well. But the lyrics in it are so Shane, and that I can't think of anybody else who wrote like this, because this is one of my favorite things. He kind of does this in Streams of Whiskey too, and some other songs where it's like a dreamscape. Where Pair of Brown Eyes is another really good example, where you feel like you're drifting through somebody's dream, where there's just sort of kind of these disjointed, kind of almost non sequitur type situations that are being described. And the Boys from Kind of Hell just sounds like somebody remembering a dream and like kind of piecing it together. And the chorus, it's like, what is it? It's just fantastic. And you compare that to The Old Man Drag, which is just laser focused on this horrible situation of this young man's life being torn apart on, from drug addiction and prostitution. The difference between those two songs is like, Boys Who Kind of Hell is like kind of this dreamy, drunken landscape, and Old Man Drag is like somebody holding you and like you can't look away from the thing that he's singing about. Just those two songs in together kind of make me realize what a genius he was. And just to finish up on the Old Man Drag too, we were talking about this in the van the other day. The way that it ends, it's one of the most brilliant things about that song, and one of the most brilliant things that the Pogues did. The way that song ends, the Old Man Drag, where normally you would expect a song like that to end, Old Man Drag or something like that, and it just ends. It's sort of like end scene, and you're left with just the drone of, I think, is the accordion underneath that, which is the same way the song starts, and it's almost like a flat line, because the main character of the song is dying at the end of the song, and it's just so fucking good. So I'm looking forward. We're talking about covering that one I don't want to give it away, but yeah, I know we've been talking about doing a version of that.
Fucking yeah.
That's another announcement that's coming down the pike.
Yeah, indeed. So, Heidi, do you have any other?
Yes, I think so. I was going to say South Australia. That's just a fun crowd one to do. Hadn't heard it in a while until last night, and I'm like, oh yeah, South Australia. That's a cool song.
Yes, it is. And I would have picked that years ago, but I've just heard so many bands play it that it doesn't bother me anymore. And again, I'm not knocking other people. It's just it's just one of those things where if you heard Sweet Caroline on the radio, you might not throw up, but now that you've heard every band play it and you've heard it, you might throw something through a window and throw up. So it's to me that it's got that kind of
it can get old. Yeah. When I did that with Spirited Lads, I used to stand there on stage going, "Why are we doing this song? It doesn't make, it's kind of a good pop song, but gig after gig, I'm like, why are we doing this song?" But then if you haven't heard it in a while, it's kind of like, that's a good little song. But yeah, it gets old fast. Yeah,
big time. One other Shane song when he went off and did Crock of Gold, I heard Rock and Roll Paddy, and at first I kind of just I don't know. And that song grew on me. And to this day, I still love that song just because it's irreverent. It's pure Shane. It's not in the style of anybody, but so many of his songs just stuck with me. I heard them the first time and it just became a part of my, my writing style, my performing style, all that stuff. So I just can't, I can't look away.
Yeah. I thought about that one too. Yeah. I thought about that one too. Cause obviously we've covered it for a long time. That song is so tricky that we've never, I love that we were doing it now, but we were never satisfied with the way we were playing it until recently.
No.
But that's another one that's kind of reminds me just the attitude and the subject matter of the song is like it's sort of like a continuation of songs like Transmetropolitan, sort of drunken kind of.
Yeah, another. This is just a little background here, boys and girls. But before Blaggards, and I was covering some of that stuff, I couldn't, and this is true to this day. I've some of the songs we just nixed because the band couldn't get the feel of it, and I always wanted the intro to Nancy Whiskey to be how Shane and the Popes did it, but the drummers looked at me like no. And it's funny with musicians, they can be the smartest people in the room, and when you ask them to play something that's out of their wheelhouse, they immediately they don't understand English, and they look at you like, huh? Okay, no habla inglés, and they just become, and it's amazing. They become a fence post, So when a musician, when you go out of their comfort zone, they become, and it's hilarious. So little background there too. Some of those songs that came in and left very, very, very quickly were songs that just the feel just didn't get, and so we just scrapped it. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kind of funny.
That one too. We've talked about this. I don't know if we told the story in the show before. You and I both remembered this. That one time we somehow accidentally got the feel, or our drummer at the time accidentally got the feel, and on a tour through Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
And we're like, look, that was it. And then he's like, what? Do that again. I don't remember what it was. Like, shit. So we didn't record it or anything. And we were never able to get there again with that lineup.
Yeah.
Anyway,
very true.
So the way we're doing it now, it's like we've kind of, it's a little bit borrowed from the original, but we've kind of put our own spin on it, which just kind of works a little better for us anyway.
Yeah.
It's like more almost sort of like a Ramones kind of approach.
Yeah.
Or like a Stiff Little Fingers kind of approach. I don't know.
It is. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So our Shane, our Pogues, it won't change. There's no change in course. We're just I'm just excited because this coming year, 2024, Heidi a few months back said, I really think that we need to record a record, and I said, why? And she said, well, because no, I mean seriously, because at regular shows people don't look for CDs because everything's online. So they just get their stuff online. However, Heidi pointed out, she goes, at these festivals that we're doing, that's all they want is CDs. They want stuff. They want something in hand to leave with. So, and I got to thinking, I was like, well, yeah, some of these arrangements have changed, and some of these new ideas and stuff that we are writing, although we are miles apart, we are still, working on stuff. So I got to thinking, I was like, yeah, we kind of do need to record, because this is, like I said at the beginning of the thing, when we got together in Chandler, there's a new kind of glow to the way that we're presenting these songs. Mm-hmm. And I think that I think that we owe it to ourselves to put it down on record. And, I definitely want to record. I definitely want to record some of our originals, but I would like to take another stab at some of these traditional numbers or these these favorites of ours, and just have another shot at them and put them down on record. And I just think it would be, I think you're right, Heidi. I think it's the time is now, and be really nice to bring something like that back to Ireland with us, and share it with our pals over there too. So
yeah, and we got a system down for recording now that I think we could pull it together pretty quickly. At least get the basics down pretty quickly.
Yeah. I'm kind of short of breath just thinking of what's going to happen in 24. Not only do Blaggards turn how old?
20.
20 years old. 20 years old.
Yeah.
We're setting just ridiculously huge, silly goals. I mean, there's stratospheric goals, and we intend to hit every single one of them this year. It's going to be, it's just going to be a monster year. And Heidi, after this visit to Chandler, just the band is on a new trajectory, and we're just playing in a different in a whole another level. I hate that other level, but it's true. We really are playing. We're kind of, everybody's kind of found their place, and I just thought the last show in Chandler was just spectacular. I mean, I'm not critiquing. I'm not blowing smoke on our show. I'm just saying that the four of us playing together, and the chemistry, the respect everybody has for each other. It was just I thought it was a newfound light, that hadn't been there before.
Absolutely.
So Heidi, that was pretty much 90% your crowd.
Yeah, that was incredible.
So it looks like we're going back in March. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's looking like February, what is it, the 29th, right? That Thursday?
That's right. Sorry. Yeah, the Thursday, yeah.
Which is basically March, right?
Yeah, exactly.
People have already asked when you guys going to play again, and I think some people thought that you guys were here. And I'm like, no, they're in Texas and I'm here. Larry thought I was in Texas with you. Everyone was confused, but they've all been asking when we're coming back, so that we should be able to pack that house again. And that was such a nice crowd. It was a nice room and a good crowd. And
yeah,
I thought it was a lot of fun.
No, absolutely. I did. I'm just remembering now. I had a conversation with somebody who had a lot to drink, who I had to tell her several times that we're from Texas. We're not from here.
They sure drank a lot that night.
Yeah, they sure did.
Don't know if you can see this, but this is these are our new postcards.
Thank you, Heidi, for
reporting those. These postcards are nearly as well traveled as we are. These postcards will, but we're they're actual postcards, as you've probably seen before. But we're going to be these are going to be all over the United States as probably as early as the spring, where these are going to be everywhere. So
well, they're already going out because I didn't get my Christmas card done, so I've been sending those. Merry Christmas!
Awesome,
good.
That's
good. Speaking of Christmas cards, these are the. I was making notes before we come on here, but yeah, we're booking Arizona right now for March. We're out in California for March. We're in Florida next month. We're in. I mean, just it really is catching fire. People are starting to go listen to music again. So I like to think that it's been my preaching here on SlapperCast, episode 253. The importance of going out, seeing live music, the importance of going to support local shops, not just in the Christmas season, but all season. These wonderful mom and pop shops. I stopped in Brenham, Texas. I went out to see my son in Brenham, Texas, in Home Sweet Farm. I stopped in to see Cameron Crawford, who was with us on the Ireland trip, and just had a wonderful time with it. You can't if you stop in and you hang out with Cameron for any length of time, you're going to have a good time. If he stops you in the street to say hello, you just had a good time. He's one of these people that's just infectious, and smart as well. I hope he doesn't watch this thing, because he'll remember what I said. But he is smart as a whip. He is an incredible businessman. He's the biggest heart. He's one of these people. If he says he's going to do it, he's going to do it, and he's going to do it well. So a wonderful time with Cameron Crawford in Brenham, Texas, home sweet farm. That's where we're if you're interested in where we're playing, or just have a look and see where, what we're doing, just check out the website. It's going to be nuts. We have confirmed our good friend Michael Logan in Sherman, Texas. He's brought us back for the Sherman Festival. We're going back to we have a new home in Dallas, Texas, y'all. We're gonna have to curtail the poking fun at our neighbors to the north. It's a club called the Wounded Ostrich. It's an ex-Aggie friend of ours used to drink at O'Bannon's Tap House in Bryan College Station. Called us up. So I think we have a new home in Dallas.
Killer. Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
We're delighted to have Heidi back on here next week. We'll have Turbo back in here again once he gets out of the bedroom. Is there anything else? Do we forget anything?
I'm sure we have, but there's always next week.
Oh, is this a weekly podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So enjoy your Christmases, y'all. We look forward to seeing you very soon, and Happy New Year if we don't see you before then. Oh, but by this weekend, by the way, we're going to be in Austin. No, I'm sorry, that's next weekend. No, it is this weekend. It's the 23rd, right?
No,
it's Christmas Eve.
This weekend? No, next weekend is this.
Yeah, well, this weekend is next weekend because this episode comes out on next Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
See that's
a slapper.
This section,
slapper time dilation.
This section we should start the episode with. I'll fuck them up. From me, Heidi, from Chad in Phoenix, and from Heidi in Houston. Thank you for tuning in. And if you have, we'd love to hear your favorite Pogues songs and where you heard Pogues for the first time. If you would like to put them in there, and we've really enjoyed the interaction with everybody. And I'm still blown away by the response that we've been getting to these last few SlapperCast episodes. It seems like the people I talk to in Ireland and stuff, because I'm booking the shows, and they've all been watching, they've all been tuning in. So we're just thrilled to have you all. And let us know your favorite Pogue songs, and we shall see you very soon on the road, because I promise you, this is going to be the year. We're gonna put a lot of fucking miles on this year. So tune in, rock out.
And if you, I know some people have told me they've learned about the Pogues and Shane from us. If you come to the show and you'll listen to the show and you don't know any of the songs we're talking about, tell us that too, because that's okay. You're in a safe place, because that is the silver lining of us losing Shane, is that a lot of people, all this light's being shown on his work now, and the more people who listen to his stuff now, the better. And I think that is one of the wonderful things that's happening now, is that there's sort of this renaissance of Pogues and Shane material that's happening right now, and no better time of year for this to happen than Christmas season, as he was born on Christmas Day.
That's right. In a manger in Bethlehem. Anyway, kids, thank you for joining in, and we'll see you all soon. Cheers.
Cheers.